Hello, welcome to DeskTime. This video will guide you through the main features of DeskTime, including tracking time, creating reports, and changing settings. To begin with, DeskTime itself is an application. To track any time, you'll need to install it on your computer and log into your account. Once online, you'll see a green DeskTime icon on your taskbar here. You can right-click on the icon to turn on private time, which will temporarily stop all tracking. Don't forget to turn it off when you resume work. You can enable automatic reminders to take breaks here, as well as log out or quit the application here. You can also access the project time tracker from here, but I will tell you more about it when we reach the project section. Right now, let's click on the icon to reach your DeskTime page. This is my DeskTime page. Here you can see when you arrived to work, as well as your total time since you began working. DeskTime time shows how much time you have spent at your computer, whereas productive time shows how much of that time has been spent on productive applications, expressed as percentage here. Effectiveness compares your productive time to your minimum working hours, expressed as percentage here. Lastly, in this box you can see how your current effectiveness compares to your teammates and the entire company. Below, you'll find the productivity bar. Here you can see a detailed breakdown on how your time has been spent today, divided into 5-minute segments. Hovering your mouse over any bar will show you all of the applications used during that time. The green bars represent productive applications, the gray bars are neutral applications, and the orange ones unproductive applications. Here you can also log any offline time by clicking on the idle period, entering details about the period, and pressing Save. Slightly below, you'll also find the Projects bar. Here you can see the time spent on projects today using our project timer. I will tell you more about that when we reach the Projects section. You can also log your work on projects manually from here by clicking on any of the fields under Track Time. Next, you'll find all of the applications that you have used today, divided into productive, neutral, and unproductive sections. Here you can see what documents or URLs have been visited in that application, including how much time has been spent on each of them. After this, you can find the Categories section. Here you can see what kind of applications you have used for today: Office apps, email, social media, and others. At the very bottom of the page, you can see all of the time you have spent on projects today, as well as your screenshots if the feature is enabled. I will show you how to do that towards the end of the guide. Next, I'll show you the dashboard. This section is only available to admins and the company owner, as it shows an overview of how your company is doing for the day. You can either view data for all employees or for specific team here. Right away, you can see the average productivity of your employees. How many of them were late today, as well as how many are absent. Here you can see how many employees are being productive today and how many are slacking or using unproductive applications. In these lists, you can see your most productive, unproductive, and effective employees, as well as who has logged offline time, who was late, and who is absent today. To see all of the employees in order, click on View All option. At the very bottom, you can see all of the applications used by your employees today, as well as any suspicious or unproductive screenshots for the day. Another section that is only available to admins and the owner is the Team Members section. Here you can see live data of what your employees are working on, as well as their stats about the day. You can see when your employees arrived and left, how much time they spent at work by their computer, as well as how much of that time has been productive. In the Active App list, you can see what your employee is doing right now, but this list shows what projects they are working on, if any. At the top of the page, you can also add new employees with the button Add Team Member. Enter employee's name here. Add their email address and assign them to a team if necessary. Now you can invite the employee to join your team. Here, all users can see all of the employees added to your account with their profile pictures and emails, so that reaching someone within the company is easier. If a user has specified their phone number in the profile, it will also be visible here. You can change your profile picture, email address, and add any notes in their profile section of settings. Next is one of the most important time tracking tools, the Projects section. With this feature, you can track your time to specific projects and tasks, be they clients, assignments, or everyday routines. You can see all of the projects created in your account here. To create a project, use the New Project button. After giving your project a name, you can assign it to everyone or to specific employees here. Optionally, enter project hourly rates, estimate costs and time, and click on Save. Now you can open your created project and edit details, or add tasks to it here. To track time to your project, you can use the DeskTime project tracker, found when right-clicking to the DeskTime app icon on your taskbar and choosing the option Create a Project or Search for a Project. This will open the tracker, where you can now search for your new project and task, and click on Start to begin tracking your time. Now all work you will do will be logged under that task until you stop the timer. You can also log time for projects manually by editing the projects bar on your My DeskTime page, as I showed you earlier. Moving forward, there are two calendar features to manage your employees' working times and days. In the Work Schedules section, you can assign shifts to your employees with different working hours and times. To create a shift, click on Add Schedule. Select the teams and members the shift applies to. Select the date and time for when the shift starts and ends, and select minimum hours. Optionally, you can choose to apply the shift to multiple days using the Repeat Shift function. In the end, click Save. The new shift will appear in the calendar and will be visible to all admins as well as any of the employees' teammates. In the Absence calendar, you can view and manage vacations, sick days, and times away from the office for your employees. To create an absence request, click Add Away Time. This will open a new menu where you can select who to apply the absence to. Select one of the 8 absence types and add a description to the request. Lastly, select the dates for the absence and click on Save in the end. If an employee requests an absence, it will be marked gray in the calendar until a manager either approves or declines it. Manager will be able to see all of the requests by clicking on the Pending option. Here you can view all requested absences, mark which ones to approve and which ones to decline, and save the selection. Going forward, we have reached the Screenshots section. Here you can see all of the screen captures taken from your employees for that day. There are numbers next to each employee's name. The right one represents how many screenshots have been taken from that employee this day, while the left one shows how many of those are unproductive or suspicious, with something unproductive in the background. You can view all of the screenshots by clicking on an employee's name here. Keep in mind that this feature needs to be enabled in the settings, as it is not on by default. I will walk you through managing settings later in the video. With DeskTime invoicing, you can create professional-looking invoices to bill clients for your tracked hours, as well as keep track of the invoice statuses and payments. To begin, click on the Create Invoice option, which will take you to a new window. Start with assigning the invoice a number or a name, as well as due dates. Then enter details about the company, name and any address details. Then, fill out the same for your client. If you have saved any contacts, you can choose to use contact details here. Now you can add billable positions to your invoice. Enter a name for the position and optionally a description to it. Add the quantity and price per unit here. To add more positions, click on the option here. You can also add track time from a project by using this option. Select which employees to take this time from, select dates to gather data from, and choose the project and tasks that you need. Lastly, choose to include all tracked time or only time spent on productive applications. When you click on Save, DeskTime will add tracked hours from your selected dates and project to your invoice, including hourly rates. Once all the positions are ready, you can appoint discounts or tax rates in these fields. Lastly, enter any relevant comments in this field. Now you can save your invoice. From here you can download or print your invoice or send it to your client with this option. Back in the invoice list, you can edit the status of your new invoice and check when your client has viewed the sent email. In the Reports section, you can get precise information on what your employees have been doing and where their time has gone. In the Overview, you can see general information about your employees' productivity, absences, and used applications. To view all members within the list, click the View All button. At the top, you can change the time period to a week or a month. In the Compare section, you can compare the results among specific employees and teams, or compare two time periods in the Compare by Time section. In the Extra Hours section, you can see which employees have worked outside of the appointed working hours and for how long, both before and after work. The Projects Overview shows how much time the selected employees have spent on projects in this time period and how much it has cost to the company. Below, you can see how much time has been spent on each project in total. In the Projects section, you can see the details about specific project, selecting it from this menu. Here you will see how much time has been spent on specific project in that time period by each employee, how productive they have been during that time, and what applications they have used. The Exports section allows you to take data gathered by DeskTime and export it into Excel files. Here you can get information about employee attendance in Team Members Export, web pages and documents worked on Windows Title Export, and get time spent on tasks in the project's Team Members Export, among many others. To create an export, click on the Generate button on any of the exports. This will open a window where you will need to specify details for the export. Select the period for your export using these buttons, or use the calendar to select a specific time period. Then, select which teams or employees you wish to gather data from. Lastly, select how to group the data and what format to export the file in. Now you can create the export. It will be generated in a short while, ready to be downloaded and viewed on your computer. Lastly, in the settings you can edit how DeskTime works for your company. In the Profile section you can change your profile picture, email address, and password. Team Members, Teams, and Accounts sections allows you to respectively edit settings for one user, a team, or for the entire account at once. Let's see how editing the account settings works. You can specify when work starts and ends for your employees in these fields, as well as the minimum working hours each day here. Using these icons, you can set which days are working days for your company. Similarly, here you can mark on which days should DeskTime track the time, as well as set specific times for tracking start and stop here. In the Screenshots section, you can choose to enable or disable screenshots for your account, choose to blur them or not, as well as set their interval. The Tracking section allows you to disable some tracking functions, as well as specify if employees can enter time manually into their timeline. In the Other section, you can hide some sections of DeskTime from your employees, including their screenshots and stats regarding project costs. In the end, don't forget to press Save. In the Apps Productivity section, you can change the productivity level of applications. You can also change this for specific teams if you have more personalized options needed among different groups of employees. In the Categories section, you can assign a category to all of the tracked applications in your account. You can use the predetermined categories or create your own using this button. In the Integration section, you can integrate your Google or Outlook calendars into your profile or add one of the available project management apps to your account to import projects from them into DeskTime and then use the project time tracker with them. In the IP restrictions page, you can set IP addresses that DeskTime will track time from. If your employee only work in the office and take their computers home, and IP restrictions ensure that the only time in the office will be tracked. Lastly, in the billing section, you can set up a subscription with DeskTime. You can change your user amount and billing period by clicking the Add More button here and editing details in the window. This option here will allow you to change it to a different billing plan. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, you can always write to us at support@desktime.com. Happy tracking!